Hey everyone, Mango7 here, how we doing today? Welcome to another Dragalia Lost video. I took a break, just a little break for a Fire Emblem Heroes video that was kind of hilarious. And we're moving on to Dragalia Lost again. And this is going to be a video I've done before, essentially, and that's a crafting video. But primarily on the focus on whether or not you should get 3-star, 4-star, 5-star craft essences. Did I say craft essences? How do I even fit craft essences in my sentence at this point? 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star elementals at this point. And it's a tough answer, you know, and I've answered it before, but it's kind of buried in a bunch of different videos, so I figured I'd do this one up front to kind of give you a straight up answer, and that's that. And the long and the short of it is it differs for every character, for every account, and I'm going to try to help you go through that thought process and figure that out for your account, which is best for you. So let's first start things off with my general thoughts on 4-star elemental weapons, whether or not you should do them, and what I think most people should do, and then I'll go into the reasons why. Again, in general, I don't think people should be making any more than one 4-star elemental weapon, and I even think one 4-star elemental weapon is pushing it, just for the fact that it does take 320,000 rubies to get that going. And when you move into 5-star weapons, it's going to cost an incredible amount of rubies. And even though it is way cheaper to make that 4-star elemental weapon compared to the 5-star, and it is almost comparable in might, in damage, it just sets you so much further behind, right? Like 320,000 rubies is a lot behind. So the main thing here when I really consider this is I don't want to make a 4-star elemental weapon for my main user. So for example, I love my Lily. My Lily is my favorite unit I have by far. If I make a 5-star weapon, it's going to be Lily's, period. So because of that, I'm not going to want to make Lily's 4-star elemental weapon because that'll just get upgraded right away. Whereas some of my other units I have here, like Zainfried, like Celery, all those, I'm not going to be making a 5-star weapon for those right away. So what I might have done if I had thought this through 3 days ago or 4 days ago would probably be to make either Celery or Zainfried's 4-star elemental weapon, and this would keep me for like another 2 weeks at least, I would say. And yes, it wouldn't upgrade my biggest damage dealer, my main unit, but it would upgrade something on my account that I could push through, and it would up my team's might, so you get kind of a double focus there. Just keep in mind, like, you don't want to make a 4-star elemental weapon right when you finish it and then start working towards a 5-star to replace that weapon. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially since you lose the elemental ability if you equip it on somebody that isn't that element. So for example, a tier 2 4-star weapon is probably better than a tier 3 elemental weapon on the wrong element because you lose that ability. So just really keep that in mind. The next reason I didn't make Lily's weapon, for example, is because of the ability that came with it. So we want to take a look at weapons. Nope, we want to take a look at crafting, at enhance here, and go to latchkey. And this is the rod for 4-star casters. And we can see there's two versions, Moonlight Rod and Rod of Alchemy. And if we are going to make Lily's 4-star elemental weapon here, it's going to be right here, Rod of Tears. So we're going to have to get this Moonlight's protection in the meantime. And if we take a look at this weapon, I really hope you can't hear that whining behind me from that little dog. If we take a look at this, it increases the user's defense by 20% for 10 seconds, which is just not good, like something you don't want. You're basically just going to be using this as an iframe instead of damage, and that's not good. Whereas if you are to go the other route instead, we've got the Rod of Alchemy here, and this deals damage to surrounding enemies, and that is like 1,000 times better than the other way. So even though you are going to get some more might out of this here, you're just getting so much more value out of the Rod of Alchemy. And then because you've upgraded this to this Rod of Tears, my Maribel, for example, cannot use it anymore. So my Maribel is out of a weapon. So that is the main reason I didn't do it. And if we do take a look at Rod of Tears as well, it's got Lacrimal Protection, increases the user's defense by 25% by 10 seconds. And like I said, compare that to Lily's, or not Lily's, to Maribel's here. And Maribel has Tempestuous Discharge, which is just so much better. And one thing I've noticed, I don't know if this holds true to all elemental weapons, but for example, if this version here, the fire, the wind, and the dark version has a defensive ability at 4-star, on the 5-star weapon it's going to be opposite. So this version, the fire, the wind, the dark, that's good at 4-star is going to be the bad one at 5-star. The same's the case here. Because this Rod of Tears is the bad one at 4-star, it's going to be the good 5-star elemental at 5-star. So that is the long and short of it there. That is my main recommendation, I would say. That took a lot of talking in circles, but I really don't know how else to do this. This is such a confusing process and such an in-depth conversation piece here. But let's just say I didn't make them, and I don't want to make them at this point. I would, if I could go back 3 days, I would definitely make one. I would probably make a spear for Zainfried, or maybe a staff for Hildegard, although that's probably not big enough of an upgrade. I would probably do something on a character in the backline, maybe a what's it called, a Guardian Seal here for Celery. I'm not sure, but definitely would never have made one for Lily. And I think the same goes for Nefaria as well. I think she gets the bad ability on her 4-star one, so if you're considering that, think about that as well. Whereas Hawk gets the good one at 4-star. But again, at 5-star, Nefaria will get the better one. So my weapon here, I did craft this yesterday. And this is a 5-star Welkin wand. It's beautiful, by the way. It just matches Lily and Leviathan so well. I'm super impressed with it. I did not fully unbind it yet. That is a huge undertaking, so keep that in mind. This cost me 700,000 rubies or something like that, but that also includes my upgrade of the Halidome and the Smithy. I can't remember in total how much it cost, but it cost me a lot. But the good news is here, if you're looking for some more information, there is a fantastic Redditor by the name of Nargator that kind of set this all up for us so we can take a look. Thank you so much for this information. I've been wondering this and been wanting to put it together, but I just have been streaming too much. I didn't have the time. So he compares the 4-star elementals and 5-star elemental weapons with actual numbers, which is something I haven't really done yet. It shows a 4-star elemental level 50 is 320,000 rupees, and a 5-star step 2 level 100 is 1.5 million rupees. But I think this is kind of misguided. I don't think you need to make a 5-star step 2 level 100. I think you need to make a 5-star step 2 level 80 instead, which is a fifth of that price, I think. So definitely keep that in mind. Once you compare that instead of the fully upgraded one, things get a little more accessible, I guess. And also to note, Twinkling Sand is going to be primary roadblock here for 5 stars, so you never know. In the future, we might actually be blocked and have to go back down and make 4-star elemental weapons. I don't think that's the case, but it might happen. So definitely consider that as well. I don't know how many of these we get until I think it's something like 3 from in-game. So you can really only make 3 5-star tier 2 weapons right now at level 80, from what I understand. He also has some better comparisons down here in terms of might, and this is the 4-star elemental at level 50. The first one is 423 strength, and the in brackets is what you get if you're not elemental advantage. So if you are, for example, Maribel, equipping this weapon here, you get 282 might as opposed to 423. So obviously you just can't equip that as Maribel. And if you pair the 5-star step 2 level 80, which is what people should be aiming for. And by the way, you should have enough rubies for this if you skip the 4-star one. If you don't skip the 4-star elemental, you probably will not have enough rubies. It is 384 might, which is what I'm at right now, compared to 423. So obviously I'm losing 39 might as opposed to the elemental, but at the same time I can use this staff or this wand as a dual purpose wand, and my Maribel can use it also. So it's one of those things that I think is definitely worth it. And then of course, if you put some more rubies in it, which should only take me 2 to 3 days, I will have a stronger weapon overall, and I will not be out that 4-star elemental. So yeah, a lot of information here. I'm not sure what else to say, guys. I've done my best at trying to explain things, and again, thank you so much to this person for this information. Long and the short of it, just be really careful with what you upgrade, with really careful with what you plan to do, because if you do invest into these 4-star elementals, then you may find yourself lacking rubies in the future, and you don't want to be farming fortune all day for 15 stamina for 7k rupees. It's just not worth it to me. And another thing to note, I keep forgetting, if you don't have 5 Wormsmith, if you only have 3 Wormsmiths or something like that, it's probably worth 4-star elementals because you're not going to hit the requirement for making the smithy in time. So if you're far behind on your facility levels, that's another reason to maybe lean into 4-star weapon. Anyways, that's how long? Wow, 11 minutes. How have we been talking this long about the same thing in circles? I am so sorry I just keep rambling, guys, but there's so much information. I just want to get it all out of my head, you know? The reason why I don't make scripts for these videos is because I find I miss stuff in scripts, and when I start talking about things just freely, I start to remember, and I hope I covered a lot of stuff you guys enjoyed, and I hope you can't hear the dog whining in the background, and if you do, sorry. Anyways, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. I'm going to start my stream up in like 20 minutes now, so have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you there. Bye, guys.